Yo, this is your boy Heretic Kish coming up with a review of Final Fantasy 16. This is going to be a three-part review in one video, so stick till the end. So it's time to address the elephant in the room, that is Final Fantasy 16. Is it worth it? Without further delay, let's get right into it. First and foremost, Final Fantasy 16 is a masterpiece, and at its core, even with a lot of new mechanics and different route of gameplay, it is a Final Fantasy game through and through. It's not a devil-made Final Fantasy, it is a Final Fantasy game at its core. If we are complaining for it not being a Final Fantasy game, as we all know, each fantasy game has its own universe and unique gameplay mechanics. There has been changes in the past and there will be changes in the future. Not every Final Fantasy game needs to be the same. Imagine 16 games and it all plays the same. Wouldn't it be so dull? So for the old school Final Fantasy fans, there is already a trilogy of Final Fantasy VII Remake on the horizon. One game already released. And if you're missing the old games, there is also Final Fantasy Crisis Core Reunion released for that purpose. Go play it. That is why I welcome the change of gameplay mechanics in Final Fantasy 16, as it takes off the gloves and reclaims the title of King of RPG. And personally for me, I've grown up with this series, and with the storytelling, gameplay, the iconic feats, the production value is on par with Final Fantasy Tactics. So now we talk about the cost. I'm crazy, but together with the PS5 in the mix, is it worth the buck just to play this one game? It's a little absurd for me, but it's worth it. Now talking about, is it Game of the Year worthy? I think any other year, Tears of the Kingdom or Diablo 4 would take it. Besides last year, it was Elden Ring, aka Elden Ring, but for me, God of War Ragnarok should have won it. But that is story for another day. Now coming to the point about the innovation. Tears of the Kingdom is basically Breath of the Wild, and Diablo 4 is basically Lost Ark plus Diablo 3. Neither of these games are tremendously innovative in a level that an action-focused combat Final Fantasy game, for the first time in 30 years of history of the series, that is one of the oldest video game series of all time, it completely changing the way that it's done, from having cutting-edge graphics, cutting-edge combat, top-of-the-line Hollywood level storytelling, in all of its entirety in terms of innovation, just based off the context of what Final Fantasy is as a game and what it represents, is so much more than Tears of the Kingdom and Diablo 4. So in terms of Game of the Year, I think Final Fantasy 16 takes it. Now coming to the last topic of the video, is this the best Final Fantasy game ever? Now this will start a controversy or trigger some people, but I think this is the best Final Fantasy game ever made, or one of the best video games ever made. Well, only time will tell where this falls on my list of favorite Final Fantasy games, but when it comes to what makes a Final Fantasy game, I think this game reinvents all of that for modern audience, a more mainstream audience, and also shows so much love for hardcore fans of the franchise who has been there for the last games of the series or the franchise itself, like me, who has played every Final Fantasy game or whatever their entry point is to the franchise. Square Enix addresses to that. I think Final Fantasy 16 is the God of War 2018 moment for this franchise. From a narrative point of view to a combat point of view, just pure vision standpoint, the production values of this game, everything combined together works so perfectly, and the game only gets better the more you play it. This is pushing the franchise in such a way, it's making a point that Square Enix is here to stay. This only makes me more excited for Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 2. My final verdict and rating is a high 9.7. It's high due to its replayability. If you're thinking whether to buy it, of course it's a must buy. So as you can see in my recent streams how much I enjoyed finishing the game, as it brought back nostalgic vibes of PS2 gaming era, the times when game used to release as a complete package, as a complete game without any BS or loot boxes, microtransactions, DLC, and a complete game at launch. And Final Fantasy plays phenomenal on PS5, and it comes with everything at launch, even the new game plus. This is what gamers crave for, and that is why Gamers Not Dead. Share your thoughts in the comment section. Gamers Not Dead. Heretic Kish out.